I really like the idea that the instructors were very down to earth, that most of them had been in the field, they weren't just in academia somewhere, that they really knew what was going on. It was a really good variety of people. Mm-hmm. And so I think they gave you a lot of opportunities to really to learn and to shine. Mm-hmm. I was happy with UMSL. Mm-hmm. I have a practicum student, at least one, every semester, and a lot of semesters they're UMSL students, which I always say I love my UMSL students because they can hit the road running.
Mm-hmm. It's a nice compliment, thank you.
They are, right. They are really good students.
They're good,
I'm always pleased when I have an UMSL student.
Mm-hmm. And good as in you feel like knowledgeable, competent?
Knowledgeable and realistic and down to earth.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You attended UMSL very early in its history.
66 to 73.
That's what I thought you said. You know, a lot has changed over the last.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
40 years. What do you remember about UMSL then?
Well, when I enrolled, I was in. I'm pretty sure it was the first class in that Benton Hall. Mm-hmm. The first students in there, because it was a brand new building. Then the other buildings at that time, they had the old clubhouse was there, and they had the bookstore in the basement, and some offices and some classrooms. Then there was a little metal building that had sandwich machines and so forth in it, you know, like the cafeteria.
All right.
There wasn't much.
Sounds like it was a lot smaller then.
A lot smaller. I don't know what the enrollment was, but it was pretty small.
Yeah.
With all the activity in Benton Hall, you know, didn't have to go very far to go to another class,
right? Upstairs
or downstairs. Well, now you have people living on campus, you know, campus housing, and you got the gigantic library,
mm-hmm.
which didn't exist then.
Are you involved in UMSL today?
As much as I can.
Yeah.
I still enjoy getting with the physics people. When they have activities. I don't go to every single thing they have, but I go to a lot of them. And eventually, I think Dr. Feldman's a good friend. He's a nice person, and he keeps me informed of what's going on. Some of the other people there are just really nice people.
I got out of the Army in '71. I opened a business in '72, and kind of was involved in the jewelry business. It was aesthetic, it was artistic, you know, it wasn't it was all handmade. It started out as an art form, became more commercial. I was learning more about, you know, some ancestors and some names of, you know, streets in St. Charles that you're related to, and you know, and this relative signed this treaty representing these people in, you know, Prairie du Chien, and you know, and they represented the Omaha Nation, and I just felt I had some Native American blood in me that's leading me to learn more about that. You know, the University of Missouri at St. Louis had an anthropology department that studied different cultures. You know, and so that's kind of where it started. I mean, learning about cultures. So yeah, studying anthropology. So I quit my jewelry business, I quit work, I quit everything, and I went back to school. And I thought, you know, it's been all this time, I'm going to go back to school. I mean, it all started here. I mean, and if it wasn't for her, and if it wasn't for, you know, even the graduate school, but I mean, mostly the undergraduate. I mean, she was the most influential person in the theory-based. You know, theory-based anthropology applies to everywhere. You know, I did, like I said, I did interviews with teachers from 1950s in St. Louis, you know, with the African American community, and Brown versus Board of Education, and you know, all those are diversity, you know, cultural, you know, achievements that were really important. You know, we, you know, investigated so much of the Native American community. I did surveys, you know, at the powwows of 6,000 Native American families in St. Louis that you wouldn't even know existed here. And we did that with Dr. Reedhead, you know, and from the beginning, just learning and learning more and more and more about, you know, that.
You should get a job where you would work for nothing.
That's good advice.
And that wasn't her exact words, but that's what it meant.
Right.
And so yeah, at retirement time, I was able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I would work for nothing. You know. It wouldn't make any difference.
Yeah, that means you really enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah, it's enjoyable in lots of ways. We see a lot of young guys in the jail that think maybe they want to do this. You know, maybe they want to improve their educational, take advantage of an opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
and for different reasons, they may decide they might like to go to college, or they might like to get a real job when they get out, or they might want to just make their mother happy or something. You know.
Yeah.
We encourage them. You know, number one, we encourage them to stick with our program,
Mm-hmm.
and give them all the tools we can to improve their skills to the point where they can pass the GED test.
Mm-hmm.
And then we encourage them, if possible, enroll in a college, enroll in a trade school, or do something, you know, as a follow-on.
Right.
We know that some do succeed.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know, can't say it's some percentage. We don't know. Just now and then we hear everyone that is doing real well.
Yeah.
And
How's that make you feel?
oh, good. We're happy for them. You know.
So what would some of your students say about you?
Oh, most of them like me down there. Occasionally there's one that doesn't. You know, and you say, well, everybody doesn't like everybody.
Right. Is it difficult to deal with that?
No, not at all. Because usually they have something else on their mind, or there's some people are just don't like anybody.
Yeah.
You know, but I enjoy the back and forth with the young guys, and I learn from them too. You know, we all learn something every day. Then occasionally you see somebody who's maybe 40 or 50, really old, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-oh.
They call them double OG.
That's funny.
So it came up one day, there was a double OG there, and then one of them says, hey, then there's Charlie, he's triple OG.
Triple OG. Well, Well, they have a good sense of humor with you then, huh?
They do. I mean, that's one of the things I appreciate, I guess, is that how can you have a good sense of humor in those conditions?
Right.
But they do.
I really prefer working with older adults. I think because I grew up in a household with grandparents were living with us and spending a lot of time with my other grandmother. I really think that I realized the wisdom they had, and that so many people, as they aged, really didn't know what all they could get. They were afraid to ask about different things. And it's like, why would I not want to find a way to help them to get everything they possibly can to make their life the best it could be? This was the generation that did so much for our country.
It seems like part of your life and your interest has been revolved around service. Would you describe yourself as a servant of others?
I think so. I try to do for others. I think every day you try and do things for other people, not because you want somebody to pat you on the back or, give you an award for doing something. It's just because that's what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what ways do you think you seek to make a difference in the lives of other people? Are there ways that you seek out that opportunity?
What I always try and do is to hope that after I've done something with somebody or for somebody, that they're able to do more for something for themselves afterwards, that I've left them with the ability to do more, other than just saying, here it is, maybe next time they know how to do it for themselves. So passing some of that learning on there, whether it's encouraging or giving them resources or giving them other opportunities. I think that that's pretty much what I do.
And it sounds like, yeah, that's what your work is now, whether it's working for the nonprofit or working for yourself.
It is, and it's really not enabling people, it's empowering them. And people, even with very little ability, can be empowered to do a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'd like to continue teaching as long as I'm healthy, as long as there's a place for me, and helping young people as much as possible, because I mean, my parents are gone and my adopted parents are gone, and I was, told, and I mean, Grandfather Dubray even wrote a book, and he says that I'm supposed to teach others these things that I learned from him and up on the reservation. And I guess as long as I have a forum to do that, and how you can apply, that life to the general, my classes are are a diversity requirement, and so I get people in there that aren't anthropologists, but to apply, these kind of universal truths for caring for others, from a Native community, the Afro-American community, the Bosnian community, or whatever community. Sometimes this class could, has a more generalized diversity feel about it. How that you learn, you just don't disrespect these people because they have no power. You don't disrespect anybody that has no power. To care for others, and regardless of what color they are, or what they look like, is still a goal.